Pokemon Day 2026 is on the horizon. This is going to be the 30th year anniversary for Pokemon, right? This is a big year. And listen, on this channel, I feel like all I've been doing for the last 5 years is begging for Pokemon ports. And I do want to talk today about a classic Pokemon collection. I think there's two ways that we're getting Pokemon ports ever, but also this year in 2026 on the Switch 2. There's two ways it can happen. One is there is a official Pokemon app, okay? Official Pokemon app that has all of these games in it, right? And the other way is we get like an actual physical, game that has a bunch of these classic games inside of them. And they could even be a little cheeky and do two versions. There's been some rumors going around. We have no idea, but maybe there's a blue version and a red version. Maybe there's a green and there's a blue version. I don't know, right? But I think the biggest issue that has come up with all of these classic games, right? I love talking about classic games because I think there is a hunger in the community. People like to replay these games, and Game Freak, maybe more specifically the Pokemon Company, is not giving us easy ways to access and to replay these classic games because they want us to play the new games. And so the issue that it comes up is if they're going to release, let's say, Ruby and Sapphire, right? If they're going to re-release Heart Gold and Soul Silver, how do they, more specifically, when do they drop that in a way that it does not conflict with whatever the mainline game is going to be at the end of the year? And so I think the way they do it is they actually package all of these games up together. Not every single game that's ever existed, but again, this is the 30th anniversary. We are looking back at what has come before. They're bringing back Chunky Pikachu. We've seen in the promotion for, Pokemon's 30th, anniversary. We've seen this logo. We've seen all these Pikachus, right? We've seen all these different Pikachus. Where are they? Right here. We've seen all these different Pikachus from all the different games, all the different generations, and it's really starting to make me think, like, they're showing us these because it's like we're going to be able to interact with these Pokemon for the first time. These iterations of Pikachu, these iterations of Pokemon, right? They've always looked different in different games, and I actually am starting to think it's now or never. Like, now they announce this new game, this new physical edition that has a bunch of maybe generations 1, 2, 3 games in it. And they could do it where it's like there's a bundle that's generations 1, 2, and 3, and then they do a bundle in like a year, and it's generations 4 and 5, and then maybe they do a bundle after that a year later, and it's 6 and 7. I don't really know, right? But all the DS, all the handheld era games become available on the Switch 2, right? This is like the dream. How it's going to happen, I'm not really sure. But I think the benefits of this are something that I talk about quite often, which is that there are new fans of the series who have never experienced these games. There's new fans of the series who have never played these games. I always talk about my niece as an example. My nieces, my nephew. My nephew loves Pokemon cards. He's starting to play Pokemon games. But even when he does, all he's ever played is Scarlet and Violet. And come on, as a fan, if you're watching this right now, how sad is that? Is that what you want for the next generation? Do you want them to only have like Scarlet and Violet as their like baseline? They can't experience any of these old games. And I will say that also brings up another problem, which is that like even though we are so fond of generations 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? It's like, yes, they have a lot of merit. They are great games. I love them. I will replay them. I don't really know if like new fans really care for the pixel art, the 2D experience. I don't really think fans want that anymore. Like I'm talking about kids. I don't know. I'm starting to think that what they would actually want is a chibified 3D HD, essentially, a remake of Diamond and Pearl. They want BDSP. Those games sold very well. The reception wasn't good, but they sold well. But anyways, this game, this video is about Pokemon ports. And yeah, I think the benefit of bringing these up is to not only make them available, which as we've seen, the Pokemon Company, they are promoting these old sprites of Pikachu. It's not just old art, but it's old sprites, right, from the games. I think there is a chance, it's now or never, that these old classic games get ported and made available on the Switch 2. And listen, there's so many classic experiences, characters, Pokemon. I think it's now or never. I literally think it's now or never, because not only is it the 30th anniversary and it's like the most hyped time to look back and let us re-experience these games, but also all of these games would inherently be made compatible with Pokemon Home, which is also inherently compatible with Pokemon Champions. This is the biggest thing. Pokemon Champions is also coming out this year. We're getting a new game, Generation 10, that is going into the future. Pokemon is experimenting. They're playing around with the format. But they could also give us all of these classic games, right? And again, I'm not trying to get too greedy or optimistic. Gens 1, 2, 3 is like my baseline. If they make those available, then there's hope for the future, right? But then people can play these games in a single app, a single game, which, you know, if you're condensing 10 games into one purchase for $70 or whatever they want to charge for it, like all of a sudden it does actually seem a little comparable to purchasing. It's like you buy 10 games for one, or you buy a brand new game that's like HD, and that's, it's the Generation 10 game. Like that actually seems that feels like a comparable thing, right? And then, so if that's what I'm expecting, Generations 1 through 3 this year, because I think that could happen. I love these box arts right here, Fire Red and Leaf Green. I think they have the best box arts. I think what happens then is Generations 4, maybe Generations 5, so the DS era, are then made available with their dual screen compatible. The problem is that these games have their native games were built to show two screens at once, and that's part of the gameplay. And I think that is a proper challenge. That's like an understandable challenge in porting these games. There's ways to go about it. You can definitely, other games have fixed this on the Switch 2. So you can literally just make the left side of the screen the top screen of the DS, and then you add some interface on the right, which includes the bottom screen, its touch screen. They can just do that. But there's actually been a Switch 2 Nintendo patent for a dual screen apparatus that you can place on top of your Switch 2 to simulate a second screen. And so I think we could see something like that in the following years. Maybe next year for and during the 31st anniversary. And again, I think I want these games. But again, I think the possibility of us getting these games, right, is also a lot of fun and feasible, because the 3DS used to be, that's like 10 years ago, the 3DS used to be the Pokemon machine. You could go to every single Pokemon region possible on, I guess not on a 3DS necessarily, but with a DS and a 3DS, you could go to every single Pokemon game or every single Pokemon region. And the Switch 2 being backwards compatible means anything on the Switch 1, you can play on the Switch 2. All of these other games, if they're made available, now you can play them on the Switch 2. And the Switch 2 becomes truly a powerhouse, right? And my God, this would just be so magical. But again, all of these games would be compatible with Home. You could move these Pokemon in and out of Pokemon Champions, but also into your Generation 10, into your Generation 11 game down the line. Like, I think this Switch 2, like literally all of a sudden, I just hit the cutoff to the Switch games, and I'm realizing if they were to port anything 3DS, every Pokemon game could be available. Every Pokemon, and when I say every Pokemon game, what I'm talking about is like, I think it's important that every Pokemon region and story is explorable, is accessible on console, Like, that's honestly what I want to see. When we talk about Pokemon Champions being an experience for every single Pokemon battle, for all the generations, for all the years, for all the, all the experiences, it's like you can't do that without actually allowing us to capture these Pokemon. And it's not the Pokemon, but like to play through the adventure, right? To capture these Pokemon natively from where they're from. I think it's now or never, and I just wanted to come on here and just kind of connect all these dots. And the biggest thing that I should have led with is that there is in the Terra Leak, right? What you're looking at is an actual internal Game Freak roadmap for all the games that they have planned over the next, generation, like probably up to for the next 10 years, up to like 2030. And there are things on here that just aren't on this list because it's not Game Freak producing them. And if someone else, a different company, is porting and handling the porting of these old games, then it wouldn't be on that list. It wouldn't be on this roadmap. And so I'm holding that hope. I really want to see these games. And I think at a minimum, if they're also going to port these games, I think we could see things like, obviously, these games would be scaled up so they're actually HD, which I think would make a lot of fans really appreciate these titles. They could add other things like, like I'm thinking about concept art. They could acknowledge, I don't know, there's a bunch of things in these older games that they could also unlock. Kind of like when we got Crystal version on the 3DS. What they did was they made Celebi for the first time available globally outside of Japan. And so now people were able to, in post-game, get the GS ball and Shiny Hunt. And never mind Shiny Hunt, just capture and train Celebi. And there are so many things, which I've talked about on this channel before. There's so many things that they could do for Ruby version and Sapphire and Emerald. They could do so many things that they could unlock, events that they could unlock for Fire Red and Leaf Green. Never mind Generation 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, there are so many things that they could resurrect and make easily accessible on primary console, on the Switch 2. It's truly now or never. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. I think this would be like a lot of fun to like be playing through Emerald version and actually be able to get Jirachi and Deoxys. So much fun. Like, that just sounds like a blast. Let me know what you think. If you're new, subscribe for more Pokemon opinions, theories, speculation. And this is the second channel, so check out the main channel. Appreciate you guys.